Looks like Dee is sleeping in for the moment, so we'll just do it to it, shall we? Folks, it's going to echo in a second here, so I'm just going to mute myself really briefly, and then hopefully it won't echo for too long. Here we go, hold on. There we go. Ladies and gerbils, thanks very much for joining us. Why is this giving me a weird fucking alert? Zoom is telling me that I'm live streaming. Congratulations, but like in a little pop-up, that's weird. Anyway, I guess it's good to know. So while we wait for folks to hop on here, thanks very much for joining us. Christoph's in the house, Bud Kilowatts in the house. Good to see you folks. I did not have a chance. I honestly kind of blew it off, to be honest. Smash had a great idea yesterday during the show. Really got to give him credit. It was a spectacular, good idea. Such a simple thought. Oh, here comes D. Such a simple thought, but he said, "Hey." So I'll back up for a second. So I was like, oh, I meant to download. It finally did download because my internet was fucking shabby. Every time it's hot, for some reason, the internet just goes shabby. Cheers, D. Fuck, was I trying to say that it finally did download? So I was like, oh, I should totally try to edit the show up a little bit because, it's like a 6 hour podcast. I only want 2 hours of it, right? So I wanted to basically edit it down. I was like, oh, I could totally do it for the Tuesday show. And then I thought, oh, man, I'll just do it for the Wednesday show. So we're doing the Tuesday show basically live loosey-goosey as we often do. And Smashed said, hey, use that as an opportunity to reach out to Romulan and then, of course, also Seattle Chronic because I was saying, oh, I'm planning to do a couple episodes basically because Romulan then ends up basically showing up on the episode of Seattle Chronic. So it's like, oh, a great opportunity to let them know, tell them the episode's coming up and then schedule a follow-up episode. And I was like, fuck off. That's perfect. You know what I mean? So Smash, thanks very much, buddy.
Mm.
Really great idea. I can't promise that I can get them in a reasonable time. Maybe they're busy for the next couple of months or something, but it was a really great idea because I've been trying to kind of reconnect to a lot of stuff that I was, formerly trying to do, a lot of projects that I was really in the midst of. And then if you ever follow geology or archaeology or anything, there's, sediment layers in like collapse times. If a fucking volcano went off or whatever else, something went to shit. So a couple of years ago, oh my God, the amount of things that went wrong at the same time, it's hard to explain. And I lost touch with all the weed people that I talked to. I lost touch in many cases with my garden. I lost a lot of my favorite plants, on and on and on and on. So I've been trying to actually reconnect to that somehow in a normal way. A lot of times as a human being, you kind of move on, right? So you sometimes have to accept, all right, if that project or interest or whatever, if you haven't, rekindled it, is it gone? Or have you just not restarted it yet? Because I was getting into a particular very, very nerdy part of audio and I haven't had a chance to do it for the last couple of years. And now I'm like, dude, I don't know, maybe I should just sell all that gear that I fucking bought. Anyway, whatever. But ladies and gentlemen, trying to get back into the swing of things with some of these breeder interviews and stuff. By the way, I did not open up the chat, so I don't. Here we go. Need to pop that shit out. Boom. There we go. Popped out. Kind of like your mama's booty.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for joining us. Christoph, of course, holding it down really well. Christoph is number
Hey, big
one.
force.
Christoph est le roi. Yeah, my
No.
French is terrible.
Good.
On est le roi de chat. It's king of chat. I'm trying. My fucking French is super, super terrible. Uh, er ist Chattenkönig. D, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Christoph, and everybody in the chat? Actually, right now, I'm looking at different stores. I'm trying to find this. I can't. Oh my God, I'm terrible at this.
You looking at hash? Why is my
Yeah.
internet
Anyways, yeah,
showing
I'm looking
so?
at hash,
I get that
and I'm
fucking indoor mosquito.
I'm trying to find this one kind that they had one store I went to, but I have a
One
hard time
kind of
finding
kind. Hey,
one kind. I'm trying to find some blueberry hash that's Afghan style. And I'm trying to go through all these different
hi, I'm
stores.
Richard Kind, and I'm looking for some kind.
Yeah.
Walks into, you know who Richard Kind is? He's that he used to be on The Sopranos and stuff. He does a lot of like voices for animated movies and stuff. He's an older guy now, actually, probably in his mid 70s. But anyway, fun actor.
There we go. I'll bring up chat.
Folks,
Mm.
hop on here. We're gonna stay here for a little bit, unless nobody hops on here. Since we have no guests, since I have no pre-edited podcast or whatever else that I was gonna do. We're going to basically hope that folks hop on here. I'm going to post a link here and hopefully we can have some good discussion for a little bit. I am not interested in just hanging here and looking at each other. So, folks, do hop on here, discuss your garden, discuss things that are going on. Um, I was just thinking, could I show off my old outdoor garden? Maybe I'll do it next week because, although that's cheating because it'll probably look even better next week. But I haven't planted all the tomatoes. I have some tomatoes and stuff outside, and I want to put a little bit of sawdust. Oh, that would be fun to show. Ah, fuck it, I'll show it next week. Um, it would be super fun to see people's outdoor gardens as they're starting to shape up. Mine, I'm finally happy with for gosh, a few weeks. I put the plants in a little bit early. I think well, if you guys have been paying attention, I put them in quite early. Honestly, when did I put them in? May, maybe. Yeah, easily May. And it was definitely a little bit too cold for them, so I put out string lights and stuff to keep them from flowering, stuff like that. And that worked out well, but maybe because they didn't have enough sleep, that's finally what occurred to me the other day. I was like, why did it take them so long to kind of kick into gear? They were in good soil, et cetera, et cetera. They may not have had enough sleep, honestly, because I have solar string lights. I didn't have them on a timer or anything. So they were effectively getting, in some cases, only like 4 to 5 hours of sleep. I was like, that's probably not enough, honestly. So anyway, they're finally looking better now, and they're especially looking even better now that I took the string lights down a few days ago. Yeah, just a few days ago. But anyway, they finally their roots took off into the soil and stuff, and it's super, super good. I got a couple tomatoes in front of the weed plants. I should have planted more tomatoes, so I'm actually rectifying that finally by planting a couple more. But these two plants absolutely exploded. So I know the
It's
soil is rich, so I know that I'm not messing it up. I've also got
all over your mom's
it's
screen.
ready to go actually right now. It was done fermenting maybe about 3, 4 days ago, so it's ready to go. Essentially any day. I've got well, it will be a bucket full, but it's basically maybe a third of a bucket full of oh, I wrote it down somewhere. How many pounds of herring? I think I mentioned, when I moved into the house, I inherited some frozen fish in the freezer out in the garage.
Uh,
So instead of just continuing to freeze old
ooh,
fish, Smash and I were talking about, oh, you could use it for bait or something for fishing. But I was like, oh, you know what? Why not use it for a fish ferment? Because I don't know how old that
yeah.
fish is. So it could, I mean, quite literally, those fish could have been there for 20 years because some of the meat that was in that freezer, I shit you not, it was like the oldest thing I found in that freezer was, oh, now I'm forgetting because I don't want to make it up because 1956. No, but it was literally, I want to say it was early 90s. I don't think it was 80s. That would be making it up, but I definitely found something for like 1993. It was,
Yeah,
I think I took a picture of it. Yeah. It was like a frozen piece of meat from 1993. Jesus
yeah.
fucking Christ. And the amount of electricity they paid to freeze that for 30 fucking years. Anyway.
That's gross.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy. People
Yeah.
forget to go through freezers and stuff all the time. Anyway, so that fish, I don't think it was quite that old because it wasn't freezer burned. I mean, it was a little freezer burned, but it wasn't that bad. So it was like
Mm.
5 to 10 years old or something, you know what I mean? And also I found it on the archaeological top layer of the freezer, basically. So before I really chopped in there where the pharaohs lived, found the fucking herring and all that kind of stuff. So fermented it with some sugar, of course, some organic sugar. What did I put in there? A little bit of sawdust. I had wood chips that I basically got dropped off by a guy that sometimes drops off wood chips for me. Um, Oh, my dog loves to play in them. So I have this whole pile of sawdust in front of the house right now in front of the garage, and I've been meaning to do something with it. Like I was just saying, I'm going to put some back on the flower garden again to kind of top it off. But he loves to play the fucking sawdust so much that I feel bad about it. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to get another pile of sawdust so he can play in it. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I put some of that sawdust that should be actually quite well inoculated because it was from a stump that he ground down. It's basically stump grindings. And not only, but it's mostly stump grindings and a little bit of dirt and stuff too. Anyway, what else? What am I forgetting right now? I added some, oh, I shit you not, I added a little bit of kimchi because kimchi has a lot of lactobacillus and a tiny bit of yogurt. And what else did I put in there? Now I'm forgetting. I did add one little other thing, kind of jumpstart it. Well, anyway, that was the main stuff. And it fermented for what, about 3 weeks? Oh, and water, of course. Yeah, you got to add some water. Um,
Hmm.
what else? That's about it. So, it doesn't smell. So, I mean, I wouldn't drink it, but I mean, it doesn't smell or
Uh,
anything. My dog at first, when it first started fermenting, he would always go by and sniff it and stuff, but it's basically lost its smell, which is essentially a good
hmm.
sign. I mean, if you shake it up, you'll definitely smell some fermented fish, but it won't be like super gross. I guess I haven't smelled it in a couple of days, but I'll go out there and smell it maybe in a day or two. I should have taken a video of this. I realized I'll just do it again. I'll get some fish somewhere and do it again.
Yar.
Cheers, Pets fan. Good to see you, buddy. I don't think anyone's gonna hop on here, so we might hop off here in a few minutes. Maybe I'll roll a joint real quick and then we'll debate what we're gonna do. Folks, do hop on here. Since like I said, I don't have any guests. I was gonna do a recorded rebroadcast, I guess would be the best way to describe it, of an old hidden episode. I had to take a lot of my episodes, private interviews, non-interviews, all the kind of loosey-goosey shows, all of it because not only one, but a couple different stalkers were repeatedly hitting my videos. And the weirdest thing is they were doing it in such a way that they had somehow a privileged access. It was really messed up because they were able to even um, ping hidden videos and stuff. It was super messed up. So, and it was definitely a person that was doing it. It's not worth going into right now. Honestly, I don't remember all the details at this point, so it would kind of sound nonsensical. But anyway, my channel kept getting strikes, and I was literally two strikes, and with YouTube, it's three strikes and you're fucking out. I mean, out as in out forever. They ban you for life.
Yeah.
And by the
Bad.
legal language, you're actually banned from ever using YouTube, period, basically. So yeah, thanks very much for that. So anyway, I frantically took everything down off of YouTube and made every single possible thing private so that they couldn't access them anymore. That was the only way that I could do it. And then for the longest time, I would only kind of like Mr. Toad does it, actually. He probably does it for the same reason now that I think about it. But he goes live and then takes the video down, basically. And so for a long time, I was kind of doing that. Anyway, whatever. Thankfully, maybe that troll fucking died in a ditch or something, or got bored or whatever. I don't know. But that problem went away. So I'm trying to bring some of this stuff back and obviously edit it a little bit so that maybe anything in the discussion that got restricted or something isn't there. For example, yesterday's show got age restricted at some point towards the end of the show. So Captain or
Uh,
somebody, how he talks about stuff he shouldn't talk about all the time. So
mm,
chances are very,
yeah.
very good that he triggered it or one of those guys. I don't remember who else was on the show that late night. J5, Captain, they oftentimes trigger the fucking J5. I don't blame him because the guy lives he's basically a hermit that joins us for tea time, right? Like we don't appreciate it enough. He essentially lives on I don't know if it's a
Well,
mountaintop, but
underneath
it
my,
might as well, in his fucking coonskins and his goddamn with his muskets and everything else. And then once in a while he fires up the internet machine, probably with a steam locomotive or however he's powering it, and then joins us for a couple of hellos. So we can't really blame him because he's not of our people, really, right? But Captain should know better, candidly. But whatever. Cheers, RZ, or blah, blah, blah. Cheers, RZ Banshee. I feel like a long time no see, buddy. I feel like it's been a minute. Or did I just say that a couple of weeks ago? I feel like we hadn't seen you for some time. Good to see you again. Digger, good to see you always. He's saying cheers, Hash
Mhm,
Bowl. As always, cheers, Pats fan. Good to see you. Saying
mhm.
cheers, folks. Welcome, folks. I'm going to roll up a joint of the only thing I have in front of me is Oblivion, and I keep pulling chunks off these beautiful nugs. I want
Nice.
to take a picture of these nugs, so that's why I'm complaining. But these were grown by
I
Jones
like your
and to
moment
grow,
nugs.
right? Folks, do hop on here because we are not here to enjoy. I mean, I'm not retired. I don't know about D, but I'm not retired. We're not here to enjoy a placid retirement or wait until our
Mhm.
death. This is definitely a break in the middle of the day, that kind of thing. So, folks, hop on, join us,
Okay.
come chat with us, and
Oh,
perhaps we can have some conversation. Not going to probably ask another time. Maybe I'll ask one more time, and then we're going to bounce. So, I'll consider this show a failure to launch, and we'll just adios, loosey goosey. Gonna try maybe for next week. I actually kind of like the idea of doing the rebroadcasts on the
yeah.
Wednesday show. What are you yang about, D? Are you yang about the finished sentence, or what are you referring to?
Well, I'm talking about, I like how you do the rebroadcast. I think those are really
Okay,
cool.
so you jumped the gun basically. So
Sorry.
that's why I'm saying I like the idea of so that's why I say some of the sound effects perhaps could diminish a little bit. So what I was trying to say is I like the idea of rebroadcasting those episodes on Wednesday because this Wednesday noon show it's been really difficult. Cheers, Pats fan. Been really difficult to get going lately. So instead of canceling the show, which would be the logical reality, maybe rebroadcast those episodes. Uh, by the way, I could actually do it both Tuesday and Wednesday because it would be nice to spread the risk around. Honestly, your mom likes to spread it around too. It'd be nice to spread the risk around to two channels so that it's a lot more difficult to get me shut down.
Fun.
Um, but at the same time, I don't necessarily want to show the same show. You know, what I could do is I could
They managed to
show
get my
one
channel
show
shut
one
down
week
permanently.
and then show the same show the next week on the Wednesday
Oh
show.
shit,
So for
man.
example, on Tuesday, I mean, I don't have 100 rebroadcasts that I want to show. There's probably 5 or 10 of them that I want to show. But there are a few that I really want to bring back. Breeder Steve, Romulan, these guys, right? Uh, there were a few. Jorge Cervantes, that episode I thought was really great. So I really want to bring those guys back. Uh, so it would be cool maybe to do the rebroadcast on Tuesday and then Wednesday either have a live show or do a different show. And then the following week, again, do a different Tuesday and then
Damn it.
repeat on the Wednesday, basically. So for example, if I'm talking about Jorge, so you guys probably don't care. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. What's going on, Pats fan?
How much? How you doing?
Hey,
Doing
I've
Beth,
been
good, buddy.
buddy.
following this guy since back in the day when he was out doing photographs on the water in the middle of the night out there. Listen to him set up his cameras and talk about photographs,
Who, me?
taking pictures. Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Way back when you first started, you had practically no followers at all.
Yeah,
You're
that's
just
true.
getting going.
Yeah, that's true. They
Late
say
nights out
that
photographing.
what was I talking about? Somebody was asking a question on Reddit, one of the subreddits that I follow, I don't know, on podcasting or something, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I'm feeling frustrated. I've been doing this for 5 or 6 years, and I've only got 2,000 followers or something." And to be honest, as soon as I saw that question, I was like, "Oh goodness gracious, I'm basically in the same boat. I've been doing this for about 5 or so years or something, sort of, at first unwillingly, Dirtman Dan basically kind of pulled me out of the shadows. I used to just joke in the chat and stuff. Oh, you should come on. Da, da, da. So anyway, and finally I started doing my own show. And so I've been doing it for a while now. And it's easy to get frustrated and think, well, goodness gracious, I've only got 2,000 followers and I've only got this and da 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 da, and things are not doing things the way that I want them to do, very common frustration. Well, people were saying in the chat, they were like, oh, step back for a second, man. A lot of times it takes 5 or 6 or 7 years to really get going, to learn the skills involved, to assemble the people around you that can help you get further on and on and on. And then, of course, sometimes not everybody succeeds. Plenty of people don't succeed after that, but the success is much easier after that point, right? And so people in the chat were saying, gosh, it took me about 5 years to get to 2,000 followers. And then after that, I got a lot more, da 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 da. But I had to change tack a few times, on and on and on. Anyway, it was a good thought. It was a good reminder sometimes that, first of all, you're not always whistling into the void, but second of all, you're not wasting your time, on and on and on. I mean, you can obviously waste your time. Don't get me wrong. But when I think about this channel, for example, or these channels, I guess these shows, if nothing else, I've really learned how to talk to people. I can talk to basically anybody, and that's something that I was always a talkative person, so to speak, but I've never really been able to have a conversation with literally anybody that hops on my show. You know what I mean? Like a breeder or fucking, Pat's fan hops on or anybody, your mom's cat hops on. We could find something to talk about with your mom's cat. You know what I mean? Uh, that's something that comes with experience. I mean, some people are born with it, kind of like Maybelline, but I need the makeup. I guess I needed the Maybelline and the time that it took to kind of work on these skills. Anyway, I'm babbling out loud, I guess, but I do often think about, first of all, changing tack, but I'll also think about, hey, am I wasting my fucking time with this? I definitely get all the goddamn trolls. I got a couple stalkers. You guys know one of them. He's got fucking dreadlocks, and he likes to think he's a Rasta. Anyway, he's always talking shit about my streams after it. So I'm like, oh my God, what kind of a psychosis is this? This is like a fucking super fan. Anyway, he's always talking shit about anything that I say. For example, a few weeks ago, I was like, oh, I don't want to say exactly what my plans are for the Wednesday show, which I don't, by the way, because people will copy me because they have before. And the guy was like, "Oh, who's gonna copy you for 7 viewers?" You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised who would copy me, and they'll literally like they'll get 2 viewers, but they'll copy my fucking premise and somehow ruin both shows. This has happened multiple times. But anyway, smart ass trolls. They love to troll. Pats fan, why do we have all these negative people in the cannabis scene? I don't understand. Do they
You
not
know
smoke
what?
enough
It all
weed,
started
or
with around COVID.
do you think it
All
did?
this extreme negativity. It wasn't there. It really, I mean, it was there on a very small group of people, but it really like growed exponentially during COVID because nobody had anything better to do than start shit online.
You know what? The more you talked, the more I started agreeing with you. I think you're right. Yeah, because
Yeah,
there was
that's when it all
always the
started, man.
petty
Really, it was
negativity and
COVID.
stuff, but you're right. It's just
People
like
went
people are
crazy in
just
their houses.
fucking throats now. Yeah, they
Yep.
got feral.
People are actually,
Oh, tomorrow's 7:10.
and it's never recovered. It's pretty much
Hmm.
stayed the same. I mean, my channel got killed.
Hmm.
I mean, it got reported so many fucking times with stupid shit
Hmm.
that they finally shut it down. Told
Wow.
me I can't have it back. So hence this new one.
Hmm.
It's
Uh,
which I've seen happen to a lot of people. I think it's sometimes the more successful you are, the more of a target
oh,
you are.
what?
And I don't think it's jealousy. I just think it's just straight up, just that's what feeds them
I
your
think it is a
success.
kind of jealousy, and if we're going to use the how do you put it, the technical definition, because envy would be wanting what someone, or how do I say this? Yeah, envy is wanting what someone has. Jealousy is trying to protect what one has from others, basically. I feel like maybe the more
Combination.
I define it to myself, maybe my story is not applicable. But there's this acquisitiveness in the trolling, but there's also a protectiveness. They're like, nobody's gonna get bigger than me. Nobody's gonna get more successful than me, no matter who it is. It could be somebody that's literally watching the show, and they think to themselves, "No, I'm not gonna let my favorite YouTuber get any bigger than this." I don't know. How do I say it? It's a very negative and strange emotion, but I think it's not a very uncommon emotion. Um,
And the other
I'm not
problem you run
describing it well.
into
Go ahead.
is that you have people that follow people for so long that they actually think that person, everything they tell them is the absolute truth. You know what I mean? They put
It's a version of
people
those
up on
kind of
that high up a
parasocial
pedestal
relationships.
that they
Yeah,
could say
yeah,
anything and their followers are gonna just believe it.
yeah. No, you're right.
And that
Um,
that's a recipe that's what happened during COVID. You know what I mean? People had too much time to sit around and do exactly
mm,
that.
mm.
I backed away for a while. I just shut all my shit down and
And it's changed. I don't know if this is a good example, but I'm going to just roll with it anyway because I thought of it. Cheers, bud. I used to listen to Joe Rogan. I thought it was a great podcast. I didn't listen to everything. I wasn't really interested in his fight podcasts and stuff. But that's the first place I listened to Paul Stamets. A couple interviews with Paul Stamets. Really wonderful. To this day, I remember a really fun interview with a director I really like, Guy Ritchie. Movie director. I'm sure most people know who I'm talking about.
yep.
I even remember I was driving through California. I was driving down to LA, and I remember driving through these fields and stuff as he was talking about it. It was a fun experience because he's a good talker, good storyteller. And Joe Rogan changed a lot basically during right around COVID, and all of a sudden he embraced all the lunatic
Yeah, it's almost
anti-vax
like
stuff, and
COVID was a fucking
then he
hate
went and
virus.
started just really tonguing Trump's butthole, had Trump on his show, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Now he supposedly doesn't like a Trump anymore. Like the guy became a weirdo, honestly. Long story short, I just wouldn't listen to him no matter what was on his show at this point, just because he's a fucking weirdo at this point. And he's huffed too many of his own farts, I think, honestly.
What
In the past, he definitely was huffing
It's,
farts, but he was doing it, experimentally. He was that kind of
if
fun
me
guy
guy
money
that,
and
vote?
because there's,
power always
I've watched him for
corrupts.
years. I've watched his YouTube channel, his podcast. I remember he would talk about the isolation tank and stuff. Like, I'm not making this up. I used to listen to him all the time. I used to listen to his, he used to attack Carlos Mencia. He used to call him Carlos Mencia
Huh.
was a joke thief, basically a well-known joke thief. Anyway, da 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 da, whatever. But he fucking went off his rocker. And a lot of people followed him down that path. So, like you say, a lot of people, he could say the fucking world is upside down and they would start
They
walking
will
upside
believe
down or
him. They
something, right?
will
Yeah.
believe it. Absolutely.
100%. Yeah. He could
Not only will they
basically,
believe it, but they'll go on their channel and
and they'll
broadcast
start
the
talking
same
about it.
bullshit and
Yep.
keep
Yep.
spreading it.
Yep. Yep. No, you're right.
It's like a virus. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It spreads.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Huh.
quickly, too, very quickly.
I want that.
Um,
Oh, shit. Don't spill.
so there's this what does he actually do? Anyway, he's the intellectual theorist, whatever. I don't remember what his actual profession. Oh, he's like a sociologist. No, I don't remember right now what he is. Richard Dawkins. Anyway,
Yep,
he
yep.
came up with this concept. A lot of people know him from. He's kind of a public, well-known atheist. He debates,
Listen to some
religious
stuff
people
from
and
him.
so on.
Yep.
Anyway, but he came up with the concept of a meme, and immediately everyone thinks I'm talking about, the joke memes and stuff like that. Those are just part of what a meme is. A meme is essentially an intellectual. Um, it's a part of culture that self-replicates itself a bit like a virus, but it's basically an intrinsic part of that culture spread by people. So it's a thought that spreads itself like a virus, basically. And in many cases, it spreads a good thought, things that we learn, the wheel and stuff. Technology can be a meme, or recipes, or birthday songs. Everybody knows the birthday song, Happy Birthday, da da,
Yeah.
and that's a meme, right? But then, of course, joke memes. Those are also fucking memes as well. Anyway, it was interesting the way you said it because you're right. These kind of thought patterns,
But then you
they
take it
spread
away.
like
Then
a
you take it
virus.
even a step further, and you go back to the old experiment of lining up 1,000 people and starting at the beginning and tell one person something
Oh
and
yeah, it's
pass
a
it
game of
all the way
telephone.
down. And by the time it gets to the other end, it's so distorted,
Yeah,
you no longer know. It's not even doesn't even resemble the original
yeah,
words in
yeah.
almost every case. So
Yeah, even they
it
say that
just
eyewitness
snowballs.
testimony is famously terrible. People get it wrong all the time. Like a guy's wearing a green shirt and the eyewitnesses swear it was a red sweater vest or
Yep,
some shit, right? They
yep.
can swear up and down. I mean, in a court of law, and if they get hypnotized, they still think it was a red sweater vest, right? But there's fucking photo cameras. You know, the 7-Eleven security camera
There's
shows the guy in a green shirt, right? But no, they'll still
there's
swear about it.
There's people in this country that have been executed based off of two people's witnesses like that, just off of that. And
Yeah,
knowing that they're not freaking how inaccurate it actually be, because if your brain's in trauma, it's not gonna visualize everything the same way.
that's right.
And
Just like weed, we talk about this all the time. People like Bud and probably all the people on this panel. When we smoke weed, we're chronic users, I guess you could say. It doesn't really affect our obviously our ability to speak. How many people do we know though that get stoned and they can't talk, they can't form an opinion or a thought, they can't verbalize basically anything. They can't even
couple
order
here
food at
and
the
there.
fucking restaurant. I mean, that's like a joke, right? Everybody's seen that. Like their friend gets
Yeah,
way too stoned, they can't order a burrito. They're like, you know what I mean? But we like, I'd like a fucking burrito carne asada with extra fucking jalapenos. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't affect us basically. Where was I going to with that? Oh, I lost my train of thought. It does make you lose your train of thought, apparently. Fuck was I trying to say with
Yeah.
impairment? Oh, I lost my train of thought completely. What's going on, bud?
Off the rails.
Right.
Uh, yeah.
train
Just
of
getting
thought went left instead of
Yeah.
right.
What's that? Good thing I'm not driving a train, or we would have been in big trouble. What's that, bud?
just getting over here to the shop. Somehow I didn't smoke so much this morning that I was motivated. I took my dog to get groomed and I already made it to the post office. Things that sometimes I procrastinate. I somehow, and then as I was feeling good about myself, getting here, I realized, yeah, I only took like two, three hits this morning off a joint from yesterday. I didn't like wake and bake and get myself so stoned I procrastinated the day.
You're like, hmm. You're taking notes. You're like, if I didn't get mega stoned, I could do so much work.
Well, my
That's the
dogs
problem with
needed to
all
go to the
stoners.
groomer for probably a couple weeks. I just keep putting it off.
Hmm.
Well, they like it that you get there between 8 and 9, which I never do. I think it was like 11:30.
Why
He's
so
like,
early? They are they busy for the day or what?
oh yeah, they like to put all the dogs. It's weird. You go get a haircut as a human. You go in, you wait, you get a haircut, and you leave. Right? No, a
Hmm.
dog. He's like, because I brought him so late. He's like, yeah, like probably 4:30.
Holy shit.
I don't know. There's like maybe 10
Yeah.
dogs in the cages
Oh, I
there,
gotcha.
but oh, they're gonna take all day to.
Hmm.
They do a good job and everything, but And I feel bad because I almost thought of giving him a bath before I brought him to the groomer, just because he's pretty dirty. And
Was he
yeah,
dusty or
like
was he covered in poop? I guess that's the difference because the
no,
groomer
not
probably doesn't
covered.
care
Troy,
about
He's
dust.
dusty, but like
was it trichome?
a lot of little buds or sticky leaves or shit
Groomer's making
gets on
charas for
him.
your dog.
Like, like I and I imagine they're like, yeah. I mean, they just probably shave the hair, don't even really look that close, but yeah, he's basically got weed on him in
That's pretty
his
funny.
underbelly, and then it's not like you can just pluck
What
it
about the
out.
bud?
It's all sticky and shit.
That'd
And
be funny.
he's a
Groomers
long
there.
hair, and as he's gotten older, yeah, it's amazing how fast his hair grows back. And I can go get a good haircut, and they do a good job for like 25, $30. Yeah, they want $75 to groom my
Oh
dog.
shit. I hear
Dog
that's the
grooming
real
is,
racket. Years ago, not racket, I guess to say, but that's the real play. If you want to drop everything, if you have some money. I've met a couple people like down in LA. There was this chick that basically, I think the story, yeah, she got divorced or whatever, and she's like, oh, I didn't know what to do with my life, so I basically started dog grooming, and she does like a mobile dog grooming service. She bought like a van,
Oh, nice.
and then just goes. In LA's case, she would go building to building because there's a lot of big, condo buildings basically, and these people all have fucking dogs, right? And you can see this because you can drive in front of the building and see like 15 people walking their dog in front of the building. So she would just park on the street and then just like you say, rake in cash all day long. Just everybody's coming by for their fucking dogs to get them groomed, and then she would move to the next place, the next place, the next place. Yeah, I hear those people are raking in cash.
yeah, especially Southern California, dog culture is huge.
Yeah. Hey, cheers, Star.
So
What's going on?
everybody gets their dog
Not
groomed.
too much. There we go. Trying to get my signal.
I mean, I have like
recognize me
a
here.
clipper and could do a half-ass job myself, but they cut his nails. They do all that. They do it right. I don't. He'd look pretty sloppy if I took the shears and just shaved him down.
I'm lucky with my pup, the way his nails are. I don't think he's ever going to have to really get groomed, but he has those extra toes, and those nails, I have to fucking cut them every once in a while. I've already cut them once, and now I got to cut them again, basically, because it's his fucking claw, right? Uh, Apparently, a lot of times people remove that toe, but I don't know. I don't like to amputate stuff if I don't have to. So I guess I'm just going to have to chop that claw
Yeah.
repeatedly for the next however many years. But oh, one of my old dogs, goodness gracious, he had these crazy long quicks and they would grow just ridiculously fast. He was part like Cocker Spaniel, Border Collie, stuff like that. Anyway, so the quicks themselves, like his whole claw would be like this, but the quick would be all the way here. So you couldn't trim more than just that little tiny little bit. And the groomers, the vets and stuff would always tell me, try to trim a little bit more every time. And I did for 13 years and it never got any shorter. So this freaking guy, he just had these crazy long claws.
Right.
Oh, it was always such a nightmare to do his. Before we figured out the Dremel, that was the key because even though the Dremel was loud and everything else, it wasn't painful or the vibrations and stuff were a little bit annoying, but
It's
you can
quick.
get used to that. Yeah, it's fairly quick. Da da da.
Yeah.
And yeah, they can walk better on them and stuff. But like the clippers, oh my God! I remember one time I was at the vet and the vet assistant, who was also a grown man, and the vet himself were all fighting my dog. And my dog was like a 40-pound dog. We were all three grown men fighting this fucking wild animal, trying to chop his fucking nails. It was something
Yeah,
else.
My
no, I've had bad experiences
my
trying to do my dog's nails myself. They, yeah, they squirm. They just are not gonna like cooperate. And yeah, if you cut a little too much, it's bad. They can
Oh, it's
bleed
super
out.
painful. Yeah.
yeah.
And, you got to be
I had to
careful.
cut some sheep nails about 2 months ago. That was interesting. I never done that before. Shearing the sheep, they basically flip the sheep on their back, and somebody has to hold the front. You got to hold the back leg and snip off the shears around everything. Same thing. You gotta get close to the quick. It's just yeah, they don't
Why
like
do
it at all.
why do you shear a sheep nail? Like, what's the point of that?
Well, the guy I was cutting them for, basically the sheep don't have any hard surfaces to walk on, so it's all just soft grass. So they keep
Yeah, they'll
growing and
curl
growing.
up.
They actually curl under.
Under
no.
oil.
Um,
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, they curl under and it's painful for them to walk, so they
I
have
see.
to get them cut.
Interesting.
Hoofs.
Okay.
That's
Huh.
it's like it's the same with the horse. You gotta do the same with the horse.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
of
that
them.
Same
makes
kind of thing.
sense. Yeah,
Cows.
because I've heard of horses that never get out and their hooves like they clove or something. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, this guy's got like an acre and a half. He's got a sheep walking around him, but it's all just soft dirt. Never walk on any kind of hard
It doesn't grind it
pan or
down.
any kind of concrete or anything. So yeah,
So what
every
you're
year
saying
they
is
either get their milk.
he's got to walk his sheep downtown somewhere. He's got to put a leash on his sheep, take it downtown, take it for a cup of coffee.
That
When
might
I
be
was
the
living
Have it do
on,
some
Do some
laps
jogging
in
on
the
the
Costco parking lot.
sidewalk.
when I was living on
Take
the
your
horse
sheep
ranch,
jogging with you.
taking care of all those horses, well, a few times over that period. The
Ride the sheep
farrier, I
downtown.
guess they call it a
Downtown.
farrier.
The-
That's
it's
a
a
person
pony.
that horse hoofs or reshoes your horses. Yeah, I'd watch. I that's a hell of a skill. Most of the time the horses cooperate, but just like how they file it, they have like they put
How
this
much do you
nail
want to
right
bet
through
there's a Twitch
their,
channel where someone's
their
reshoeing horses?
their hoof, and then they bend over and cut it off, and yeah,
That's a
they
big
make good
animal
money.
too.
That's what
Yeah,
she said.
and not all horses cooperate,
Beautiful animals.
but like the guy, the farrier, that's what they do. Oh, yeah, they know how to like handle horses and get the horse to lift its leg up and behave for the most part. It's dangerous too.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I search for horseshoeing, there's nobody on Twitch, but what about horse stable? I'm
They call
betting
it
there's somebody that's like streaming
You're
live. It's
fair.
probably some chick in a bikini
F-E-R-R.
live streaming from her fucking horse
Yeah,
stable.
farrier at work.
Farrier.
Oh,
Yeah.
farrier. I should have looked that up. All right.
Yeah, that's the name of a horseshoe guy.
Farrier.
Yeah, that's a famous horse.
Oh, come
Sorry,
on.
I
What is
lost
my
the
TV
screen.
or what is my computer doing?
Yeah, I can see that being pretty freaking dangerous trying to shoot big ass horse like that, especially if they're not in the mood for it. I know
Yeah.
my dad used to have
I can't
two
find it.
Percherons, which were these massive horses that were used for plows, basically to pull plows in the Amish fields.
Hmm.
And one time he was, cleaning his horse, brushing her down, and she kind of like leaned into him and pinned him into the wall of the freaking into the wall of the barn. He thought he was going to go unconscious. She was like, oh, it's so good. She was leaning into him. He was like, you got to get the hell out of here. The thing was, when I stand there, the horse's back was over my head when I stand. So the horse's back was about 6'2". It was just a massive horse.
Huh.
Had to be like over 2,000 pounds.
There was a really interesting question on Reddit the other day. Somebody on Ask History, I want to say, was like, "Oh, what was so difficult about cavalry? Like, what was so scary about it? Why couldn't you just like stab the guy on the horse, or why couldn't you just stab the horse or something?" They were like, literally, why was the cavalry so scary? And people were describing this. They're like, well, okay, so first of all, you got this 1,000+ pound animal charging at you at first with no armor, but then eventually they literally put armor on these things. The horses themselves don't want to die, so they'll trample the shit out of you. They won't trample you at a first opportunity. They'll try to run around, but if there's no way to go, they'll just trample the shit out of you. They'll kick you, they'll walk right over you, and they will do it with extreme abandon. And by the way, there's an armored guy on the top with a 30-foot pike. So the pike basically extends in front of the horse by like 20 feet. You know what I mean? So before you even get a chance to stab the guy, he's already impaled you with a pike, and he's got a sword, and he's a mean motherfucker that also doesn't want to die and also wants to kill you. So basically you have like this gigantic behemoth of a fucking, essentially not prehistoric, but a medieval tank, basically, right? By today's standards, it was a fucking tank coming at you. And most people generally don't want to die. So when you see that coming at you, you're like, fuck off and run. And that's apparently what they mostly used cavalry for, to make you fuck off and run, basically, to rout the enemy. So anyway, it was just an interesting visualization. It's like, you see this stuff in movies, and from a movie perspective, shit, the guys on the ground, the guys on the horses. Yeah, I mean, from the lens perspective, it's not that different, right? But if you were standing there, right, if they actually like did
Yeah.
more first person, like actually Guy Ritchie a couple times in like King Arthur, a couple times they actually do first person view of the battles, and it looks quite scary, right? Because you're in the middle. There's fucking horses and pikes and swords and everything else. You wouldn't want to be there. You know what I mean? So yeah, horses are scary. Horses will kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, when I dealt with horses, I realized, yeah, anything they do, they let you do. Because like they don't have to let, yeah, they're so big and strong, like they don't want you to lead them over here or there or put them in a stall. Yeah, they- most
what about
horses
his
behave.
horse?
Like some days, most days, the horses began to love me because I gave them carrots and apples for the first couple months all the time. But then sometimes I'd show up with no carrots or apples, and then they would act out. Like they would, they would, yeah. What? You
Throw a
didn't
little
bring me any
tantrum. They're like,
carrots?
"Fuck, bro,
Yeah,
we only like you for your apples."
yeah, exactly. Like I thought they actually loved me. No, I was just the apple guy.
That's the nice thing about dogs, you know, like you don't actually have to give them any fucking treats or belly rubs or anything. They'll still love you. But if you do, oh goodness gracious, right? But then
Yeah.
of course the cat people, they always complain. They say that dogs are shallow animals or something. I'm like, every time a cat person says that, I feel like they reveal their sociopathy. I don't know, you know, like dogs are like the ultimate empathetic, you know, I don't know, how do I put this? Unconditional love, like, I don't know, wonderful, wonderful creatures.
I used to
Uh,
be a dog.
you
Go
used to
ahead.
be a dog.
Yeah.
But then you got better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, your
They give you
dogs
an
really like
injection.
pay attention to your moods, your habits, your
Yeah.
routines.
Yeah.
Like, or cats, not so much, but yeah.
I was kind of laughing to myself too. I was like, oh shit, if an alien walked into my house right now, they would think such strange things about me, because I had literally bones scattered around my couch, essentially because my puppy chews on these fucking soup bones basically, and then he likes to play with them for a little bit, so I don't really
Oh,
throw them away. So he's got several of them basically, just these little soup bones. So I'm looking around, I'm like, we literally litter our home with the bones of our fucking kill. You know, like I didn't actually kill those cows or anything, but you know, like an alien would walk in, they'd be like, "What kind of brutal people are these? What kind of brutal species?"
I
You
thought
know,
you
Yeah.
were getting.
like with a with a cat or something, you wouldn't keep bones and stuff, right? But like for a dog, it's totally normal just to have fucking beef
Oh,
bones and shit all over the house.
um, shit. I was just about to call you like, what? Who are you, predator?
That's
You
right.
keeping
Yeah.
bones all over your
Oh,
house?
and
Like,
then because normally they're not scattered around the couch. He likes to hide them. He has
yeah,
a
yeah.
like a cubby that he sleeps in, basically, like a whatever. It's not worth going into, but in the bedroom, basically, he has his own little cubby that he kind of crawls into, and he likes to put some of his toys in there and some of his old bones. So that's even funnier. Like his bed is surrounded by the carcasses and the bones of his fucking enemies, right? Because the toys are like a little
Oh,
whale and shit. It was just very amusing to me. Cheers,
here's
Red
a
Setter. Good to see you, buddy.
here's a cat fact for you. Anyone that's interested in cat facts. When the cats your cats see you go out somewhere, like say you go shopping or whatever, they figure you're going hunting. Because when you bring back bags and stuff in bags, they think you're like gathering food and you just killed something and brought it home.
Oh, very logical. So does that mean that they're
Yeah.
impressed when you come back and offer them like a little sliver of meat?
Yeah, and that's the thing you could do too. You bring them like one of those there's like a little packet you can lickables they're called or something. You give them one of those and like, oh,
I
right
share my
on.
kill with you. That's pretty funny because they say that that's why cats bring you like half-dead mice and stuff because they think you're an
hmm
incompetent hunter, evidently, and they're like, well, surely you could kill this fucking broken mouse, right? Because I used to have a
Yeah.
cat years ago, and she kept bringing me these fucking broken mice, and I was like, first of all, where do the mice come from? But second of all, do you have to fucking giving me these half-dead mice? But yeah. And she would always be so
Good.
disappointed when I would take it out of the room, like she'd be like, "What? You're supposed to kill it?" It's probably in her head. She's like, "You
We used to
incompetent
just have
fucking
nothing but
woman."
a liver, a mouse liver, or a mouse like head laying on the ground is all that was left. Like she'd leave.
Then she's just bragging. That's
Mhm.
that's a trophy. She's like,
Here you
"I'm
go, a
so
piece of
good.
meat
Here's
for
your
you.
liver." That's right.
We used to have a neighbor cat that was an outdoor cat, and they always brought brought mice, like brought presents to us.
Got a scoop,
Just like
guys.
dead
Talk to you
mice.
later.
and- yeah, it's
Thanks for having me
brutal.
up.
Oh, you're taking off, Pat's fan? Cheers.
Yeah, I got some
Later.
things I gotta do.
Oh,
Later,
right
man. It's good to
on.
see you
Pat.
guys. Peace.
Yeah, cats are funny too. I had a great cat. He unfortunately died very young. I've talked about this before. He died from the bladder crystals that apparently you can get. They do get it. Evidently, many male cats get from commercial cat food. They get I don't remember exactly the mechanism that causes this. Perhaps you know more about this,
Huh.
Dee. But evidently, a
No.
lot of the cheaper cat foods, and when I was basically, I was like college age, a little bit more than that. We didn't have a ton of fucking money, so we didn't think to buy, whatever, the farmer's cat or whatever the fuck it would be now, right? Because there's that brand, the
Yeah.
farmer's dog. We just bought like Jiffy or whatever, basically. Literally, just Jiffy at Walmart, essentially, right? And it
Mm.
wasn't like the cheapest brand they had, but it was one of the cheaper ones, basically. Anyway, turns out those give cats, male cats
Huh.
especially, bladder crystals, and it can be fatal. It ended up killing him. We
Huh.
had to go to the vet a bunch of times. He took medication, da da da, but it ended up killing him. Yeah, it was really fucked up, stupid shit. Literally from commercial food. It was one of my first reminders in life that some of these commercial food companies, animal or human, it doesn't really matter, don't give a fuck about you, and they will sell you, willingly will sell you poison. And so you have to remind yourself, like, oh, just because they sell it to you doesn't actually mean that it's safe. If it's safe, for example, I don't know, a can of Pepsi or something, it's not going to kill you one time. But if you drank a ton of Pepsi your whole life, it might actually kill
Yeah.
you. And the company doesn't give a fuck, right? Like they want you to become a Pepsi drinking machine. I saw someone made a metaphor today, and it made perfect sense that essentially tobacco companies want to turn you into an autonomous cigarette smoking machine. And it kind of clicked for me for a second, like, yeah, when you think about it that way, they don't care about your personality, your hopes, your dreams, your future, anything else. They just want you to be a machine that consumes cigarettes. If they could legally sell cigarettes to robots, they would do that, right? They would happily do that. And one day, if we overwork robots too much that they need cigarette breaks, the tobacco companies will be happy as shit, right? But long
Yeah.
story short, all these companies, when you think about them, for example, Gillette, they knowingly kind of sell you a disposable garbage product because they essentially make you an autonomous shaving product. You go through razor blades. And if they could make another machine that goes through razor blades faster and consumes them and buys them, they would do that, right? Instead of human razor blades. It's an interesting way to think about it, right? So like they don't give a fuck about you at all.
Well, a lot of the food, like big food companies, junk food type companies, all got bought up by the tobacco industry. Like somehow they expanded their conglomerate thing
Hmm.
into the food. The tobacco companies own a lot of the food companies now.
You're not
I,
wrong, right? Like what, Philip Morris and Nabisco, I think they're like one big conglomerate. I might be getting that
yeah.
wrong, but yeah, you're not
All
wrong at
for
all.
Philip Morris.
Pardon?
Oh shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. Sorry, before back to you.
Something Philip Morris.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. We could look it up. Bud is not lying. It's that's true. It's an
Okay.
interesting kind of thing. Like well, why does Pepsi own all these different? Why do they own Taco Bell and all this stuff, right? Like, what does the one have to
Oh,
do with the other? It's kind of bizarre, but money chases money. They don't really give a fuck about you at all. Pardon me.
Yeah, I mean,
and they
there's
say,
no like on no side of the political thing is there anybody really saying anything about break up these conglomerates.
That's not true.
But
No, that's not true. Bernie Sanders, among other people, has
Bernie a
been talking about
little.
it for a long time. No, plenty of people on the left have been talking about it. There's been a few people on the right. I'll give them credit there. Have been a few here and there. Uh, Sporadic. Now I'm even forgetting which ones, but I know there have been a few people from the Republican
Yeah,
Party.
but so
But
little. Like I don't have any hope
comparatively
that
very
like
little. I
it's going
agree
to
with you.
happen.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of the most important things that's fucking up our whole system.
And the last time, really, arguably, anyone really broke up the big conglomerates was over 100 years ago, and it was Teddy fucking Roosevelt who had to basically found his own party to do it, right? Like he broke
Yeah.
off from the Republican Party was a different party back then. It wasn't really the super right-wing party that it is now, but still he broke off from it. What was the Bull Moose Party, and then did a bunch of reforms of his own.
Well, all those
I think a
laws
lot
are
of it had to
still
do
on
with,
the
with just
books.
the customers, how they spend their money. If they'd stop going to big stores and buying all the big brand stuff and go to the mom and pop shops, hey, but they don't want to spend the extra money. So that's the problem you have too.
Which
I
in
could
some cases is difficult, though. I mean, it's not
go to a lot of shops.
impossible.
I have loads of fresh stuff, but exactly, it's going to almost spend double to buy everything I want to buy.
Hmm.
So you got to pick and choose. I mean,
Yeah.
Obviously, I think what you do is you go for the healthy food, and maybe some of the products you buy, like razors or whatever, you buy the junk bullshit razor instead of spending loads of money on that disposable product and put the stuff you're putting into your body. You spend extra money on that. So at least you're putting good stuff in you, not putting a bunch of chemicals and shit into your body.
Hmm.
And exactly, it's kind of hard to afford to just shop all independently owned small mom and pop businesses without going bankrupt or spending half your day searching the products down to find them at the same time. Let alone we have internet now, which makes it a lot easier to access everything, but still more
like
work.
here, there's so few of those mom and pop businesses left. Like, yeah, that's all part of what happened. Like all the way
Everyone
along.
goes to the cheaper product and they suffer and then they go out of business.
No,
Yeah.
it's the kind of the relentless churn of money upwards, right? It's not just first of all, it was Walmart. Nobody even really talks about Walmart anymore because Amazon apparently ate everybody's lunch. Walmart is still a huge conglomerate, but evidently Amazon is eating everyone's lunch. It'll be somebody else next, right? Because someone always eats someone else's lunch next, basically. And it was this, they called it the relentless sucking sound, basically. And you can kind of see it a lot of times in small town America. Oddly enough, sometimes bigger cities are better about this than smaller towns. For example, Los Angeles, comparatively, you'd be shocked if you go to Los Angeles. If you've never been there before, you'd be so shocked how many independent mom and pop businesses there are. Restaurants, dry cleaners, you name it. It's easier because there's so many fucking customers. I mean, if you open up a
Population,
donut store, there's a million potential customers within a fucking
yeah.
3 mile radius. You know what I mean? Whereas in a small
Well,
town,
and
if you got 20,000 customers, it's a different story.
as SoCal developed, a lot of the Walmarts, Targets, and that were in certain middle to upper class neighborhoods, right? So a lot of the older neighborhoods, the ghettos, I guess you'd call them, they're not ghettos, but uh, yeah, they didn't have any of those. They didn't even have major grocery stores. So then a lot of those mom and pop type of businesses were what was in those areas. Now, oh, and it really does. Like I remember when Inglewood first got his Costco and uh, um, Walmart and all those places have opened up in those type of areas. It changed everything, you know.
But I guess
Because a lot
in
of
the context of the relentless sucking sound, a good example, Bud. So imagine, for example, once upon a time, right? You know, the freaking MAGA guys are always talking about fucking how it used to be. So once upon a time, you had this small town before, let's say, a Walmart or before Amazon. You had a hardware store. You know, hardly anyone has a hardware store anymore. You have to drive. Like I, for example, I have to drive about 20 minutes to get to a real hardware store. Um, uh, uh, Dry cleaners. People would sell fabric. You could buy literally like a sewing store, fabric store. There was oftentimes like a cooking store where you could buy pots and pans and shit because, you know, people had to buy pots and pans. Sometimes the hardware store would be that. And then all those businesses, basically, you go, a lot of times they're independent mom and pop or maybe just uncle douchebag, whatever. Some guy's been running the place. A lot of times it's a guy, but, you know, a lot of times it was women, honestly, that ran those businesses. And they have kids and families that go to school and live in those communities that also shop at all those different other businesses. And they themselves usually shop at each other's businesses because they know each other and trying to collaborate. And then Walmart moves in and replaces the hardware store because they've got cheaper paintbrushes. And that's the biggest reason why people are going there is for fucking paint and paintbrushes. So they got cheaper, all of that kind of stuff. So it closes down the hardware store. They got cheaper fabric because, of course, Walmart has fabric in the back. So the fabric store closes down, on and on and on and on. And what
the
happens is,
vacuum
if
store.
anything, not only did those people's businesses shut down, but the money they had to spend on other businesses now goes away too. So the only option they had in many cases was, for example, to go work at the fabric store, maybe, right? But that salary is far lower than you could have gotten owning your own fabric store. Not only the social status and everything else, right? And so that's where they called the relentless sucking sound. And so when you drive around small town America, especially small town America, you'd think the opposite, but it's worse in small town America. Every oil change place is a Jiffy Lube. Every big store is a Walmart. Every home center, if they have it, is a Home Depot or a Lowe's, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, and it's quite unfortunate that it's gone that way, but it is hard to avoid because, right, like what are you going to be? You're going to be the one person to stand against the tide and spend double for everything. You know, I don't think
Well,
anyone here
this
on here is a
isn't something
fucktard
that
either, you
happened
know, so
overnight.
it didn't
And
happen
back
overnight,
when
no.
it first started happening, there people saw it, but then that's when we could have done more about it. now it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's take a lot to turn it around.
Hmm.
Because then there's the conglomerate, like supposedly Home Depot and Lowe's. I think it's over 70% or some huge percentage of everything in their store. All the rows is Bear from Bear. Like they're locked into Bear products. Then Bear owns everything else. All these other brands that used to be, independent, whether it's
Hmm.
fasteners, plumbing shit, PD, like all of it. It's all owned by one huge conglomerate that makes usually inferior product and then also like limits, like, oh, now they don't have all the different half-inch sizes, or
Hmm.
they're just showing you what sells the most, right?
Oh,
That's
and
all.
a good example of this. Well, okay, maybe it's an imperfect example, but I'll roll with it anyway. I used to really love Lowe's. I used to really prefer it to Home Depot. And then maybe 10 years ago now, I basically switched. I kind of switched loyalties and then ended up basically buying all my shit at Home Depot all the time. Lowe's, one of the reasons why I liked it is they tended to have more intelligent employees, more kind of connected employees that could give you good advice instead of just sort of winging it kind of advice. And one of the biggest reasons was that they had far higher quality tools. They had like brand name tools, basically Knipex, German pliers and shit. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, some corporate CEO hack basically decided, hey, we could make a lot more money if we switch to our house brand Cobalt, I think it is, tools. So all of a sudden, overnight, they're selling these Cobalt linesman pliers and fucking, needle nose pliers and everything else. But they're charging the same price. They're charging the same price, like 30, $40 for a pair of pliers, made in Germany versus made in China. Many of us know that there's probably going to be a difference, right? Without even saying anything more. Overnight, I basically just said, fuck this shit. This is obviously a sign that this store is going to shit. And sure enough, basically, like you said, they cheaped out on the fasteners. They switched brands of fasteners, on and on and on. They stopped selling the Spax and started using all kinds of weird garbage. They've since shifted. That probably cost them a lot of customers. And they've shifted right back, basically. And recently, I've been a year ago or something, I started shopping at Lowe's again because now they're back to selling Knipex and fucking Klein and all this kind of stuff, right? What am I trying to say? Some corporate hack basically figured, hey, we could make the same amount of money or more money basically by outsourcing our fucking pliers, and nobody will notice. But people noticed, obviously,
Well,
because they had to
I
change
never
tack.
read the cause of it, but like a week or two, no, a couple weeks ago, Home Depot's in Chapter 11.
Are they really? Oh,
Right.
goodness.
Oh yeah, they filed a Chapter 11, right? Which is the reorganization part of fucking bankruptcy. It's not
Right.
like any, but that's most
They might
likely.
just be trying to avoid their debts. They might not even be losing money. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I didn't read all that, but most likely their business is slow because like, and when inflation's up, the people don't have the disposable money to put a new kitchen in their house and
Hmm.
do all the upgrade, spend money.
That's a hell of a, they call them lagging
Del
indicators. Yeah, go ahead.
Busy as hell around my area, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Del Monte Del Monte's in going
John
filed for
Monty went out of business.
bankruptcy.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah. So there goes all their great
Well, I mean,
products.
some of these things that happen where, well, either you let yourself get bought up by the conglomerate, or after a few years, the conglomerate just squeezes you right the fuck out.
Hmm.
That's the game, right?
Hmm.
You can't always blame these companies that like get bought up. Like in some
I think
ways,
most of them intend to get bought up. That's part of the goal.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Start
even
getting big, make lots of
thinking
money.
what,
Say, no, I
Or
can
it
take a big
becomes
chunk
the
of money and
goal when they
retire
see
right
the
now.
money that's offered, Like I
yeah,
remember with
well,
Stumptown Coffee, I think at first they were all super independently minded, but then Starbucks really offered them some real fucking life-changing
It's
cash, and they
hard to
were
say
like,
no.
"All
yeah,
right."
yeah.
I mean, seriously, how
And
do you
it
turn
seems
down
like
$100 million, right?
like
That's like people say, everything's for sale if the price is right. And these companies have money.
the
They come and give you this number
cannabis
that blows your mind. You're like, holy
Yeah,
shit, I can't make that in 10 lifetimes. Here
yeah,
you go.
yeah.
the
I can set
legal
myself up and all
cannabis
my next generations up for
That's it.
life.
That's it.
and it seems to me the legal cannabis, like, the people playing at that at the hard level high, yeah, they're frothing to get bought out. That's
Yeah.
like like uh I remember I built up this,
It should
you
say a
know,
lot about the cannabis industry that the people at the top are really trying to get bought out and leave the cannabis industry because that's probably what they would do. Why at that point, why would you end
Oh
up
yeah,
working anymore once you have a couple $1 billion, right?
industry
I don't think
struggling.
those are there are obviously the billionaire dragons that we see all over the place, Musk and all these guys who will never stop acquiring no matter how rich they are. I don't get that sense from these other guys. I feel like these guys, once they cash out with a couple billion, you will never hear from them again. But to me, that
well,
says a lot about the cannabis industry that people are trying to get
I
out of
mean,
it.
isn't that the ultimate success? Like, okay, I mean, especially some of those people you never hear from
Depends on how you
again
define
because they're
success.
set, right? Now, there's other
I
people that
can
are
see
driven.
cannabis being like the wine industry, where somebody buys it intentionally, looking to take a loss.
Mm,
That's their write-off business, and they use
mm,
that to slowly accumulate more real estate through the business by getting more companies that make no money, and they
mm.
keep having write-offs against their. Say the guy owns
Or even like you
oil
say,
company or something.
just a vanity business for rich people. That would be kind
Yeah,
of a slow
like
death
you say,
too.
you own a pharmaceutical company that makes hundreds of millions a year. You own an oil company or something. You have all this extra income coming. You have to write off money. So you say, I'm going to spend money. I'm going to accumulate assets. I'm going to lose money on it though,
Huh.
and on the books. So I'm just paying out money,
Yeah,
paying out money, paying out money, and start writing all that shit off while you're accumulating more assets that you can give on to your future
Yeah,
generations
I
or
mean,
eventually
it's
sell or
really
whatever else you want to do with them.
all these leverages and it all comes out of
Playing the
Wall
long
Street.
game.
I
Wall
mean, the
Street's
real
got to
danger
really
there
enable.
is that you have what North Star's saying. Let me interrupt you for a second, but the real danger, even above everything else, honestly, is that you have bosses that fundamentally don't give a shit
Oh
about your
yeah.
business. It's just a tax write-off, like you said. And so whatever you do, it's just going to be capricious from the boss. They don't care about the good of the industry or anything like that. They don't care about the good of their employees. It's literally just a tax write-off for them.
Well, some of it depends on the boss exactly. Because I know for like in the wine industry, I've been going to some wineries. Some of these people that have mega million businesses have a winery. It doesn't make any money, but it's a beautiful
It's their
building
vanity
and it's
business.
their
Yeah,
hobby. They love it. They're
yeah,
enjoying it. It's fun.
yeah,
And they don't make any money off of it.
yeah.
It's like, I lose $200,000 a year, but I have all this wine. My name's out there. I got this great winery. I'm adding acreage every couple of years to my property. I
Well, and
keep
if
dumping
you
money, but I
have,
got to spend money every year. I have to get rid of for taxes. Either I spend it or I give it to the
And to
yeah,
government.
me, that's a slow death too, because that's a kind of stagnation. I don't know. Maybe I have the wrong impression because I'm probably never going to be one of those fucking multimillionaires. But it seems like a kind of a death by stagnation over time. I mean, again, maybe it's
Some of
not
them have been
because it
doing it
is a
for 40, 50
hobby and they
years.
can do it the best way they're doing it. I don't know.
well, I
Opinions
mean, when
differ.
you
Go
have
ahead,
a
bud.
lot of money that you owe taxes on, you're either gonna donate it, you know, to not pay taxes, or you're gonna report losses, or you're gonna pay
These
the bill.
guys, the really rich, they just set up trusts and stuff. It's a big fucking scam.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have no
yeah,
access to the scams that the really rich
yeah.
have.
They got like Wall Street is leveraged and thought these guys have sat there and brainstormed every kind of uh, way to make money from all these different ways. I mean, like it's them that engineered this whole conglomerate thing because they're the ones that make the most money.
Well, if you own property and you have kids, you should definitely have your property in a trust.
I mean, to me, it's odd because like in that space, Bear was like one of the smallest players over the decades. They had like the Aspen brand, like they weren't the big behemoth. But then in like a 10 year, 15-year period, Bear is like one of the largest conglomerates
Mm.
on the planet at this point. They're getting bigger every
Very
day,
aggressive acquisition. You're right. Yeah, they really,
right? And
really.
it's like, why was it Bear? Like, well, why wasn't it like one of their competitors that were actually like, they own everything, right? Um,
Probably a better way to say that is that why was it Bear? How was it Bear? Because it looks like it was really smart, probably evil, but still very smart, aggressive acquisition policy. Because like you said, it used to be like a
well,
several billion
according
dollar
to
business, and now it's a fucking several $100 billion business.
yeah, and like there after World War II, any companies in Germany that had any relations with the Nazis were supposed to be scrubbed out, and most of them were, except that
No,
there's a
most of them were
few.
not. That's complete nonsense. Most
Yeah,
of them still continue.
yeah,
The
but
idea
wasn't
was that
there?
they would be, but most of them continue.
Yeah, and Bear would be one that, like, yeah, Dr. Bear was like dude's personal doctor, right? And then now all of a sudden they're the hugest conglomerate in the whole world.
Oh, a ton of you don't wanna look up the history of the fucking the post-war Nazis. A lot of Nazis ended up being CEOs and stuff of major corporations. Like
Yeah,
it's a pretty sad story. You don't want to look into it too much, but
yeah, no,
yeah.
I
We
think if you
have
look at just
ways
the
of
past like
making you
15
talk.
years, how low interest rates were for everybody, they could issue bonds and they could borrow money so cheap. It's made sense to borrow every single dime that somebody's willing to give you, borrow it and spend it on more assets. Buy more
And that's
companies,
actually
borrow the
it. You
money.
nailed it. I mean, there were times where they were either zero or in some cases maybe even giving you money in the right circumstances. And obviously they're not going to give us money,
Well,
but when you're in the
Yeah,
multi-billions, there were circumstances where it made sense to actually take huge
Hogan,
fucking loans because there was no
yes,
risk, you know?
exactly. Not going to cost you anything. Take the money. If you don't use
Mhm.
it, give it back. You pay the loan back. No big deal.
well, I mean, technically, like, I use General Hydro. That's owned by Bayer. Like, it's because it was bought by Scott's, but Scott's owned by Bayer, right? Hawthorne, which is the whole distribution hub to all of the hydroponic uh, grow store industry. Hawthorne, uh, yeah, they're owned by Bayer too.
Yeah, Jen Hyder used to be right down the street from me here. And yeah, they got,
Hmm.
Now
I
you
mean, they got
couldn't
such a
blame,
big number. Why would you? Yeah, I'd take
Hmm.
that and leave too.
I didn't know those men personally, but there was two men that started General Hydro. By the time they took that money, which at the time, yeah, considering like you say, it's right down the street from your house, it sold for billions of dollars,
Hmm.
right? It was really not that big of an operation. You know what I mean? Like it had its brand name, but like it was a couple buildings up in Northern California. Uh, now they did a lot of the R&D work to 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 design design their products. But at the time, I remember like because I almost was going to like refuse to use it. One, you can't really blame those two old guys that were probably getting close to their 80s for taking that payout, right? Like that.
And
How
it's one
could
of
you
those
blame?
things, like you say, if it hadn't been them, it would have just been another company, so they would have turned it
And
down and they would have just bought somebody else.
you get squeezed. Like at this point, because Hawthorne controls all the distribution. If you don't play with them, then you have no distribution,
Hmm.
and your products, basically obsolete.
I have no inside knowledge, and I haven't spoken to the guys involved, but the rumors or the discussion about Sun Systems, the distributor, they're big, they're a huge
Yeah,
distributor of equipment to grocers and stuff, and then also a lighting manufacturer that's effectively defunct now because they used to make CMHs and stuff that they don't even sell anymore. They don't service them, nothing basically. When you call the number, literally, I've tried to do this. When you call the number for Sun Systems, it's now just basically Hawthorne Gardening.
well,
Fuck was I going to
the two
say?
distributors were
They were
both light
basically given
companies.
apparently a life-changing amount of money, or they're going to get squeezed out. That was basically the threat. Either you take the check, and it's a huge check, it's a lot of money, and a life-changing amount of money, not
unless
not
you
small,
do.
or we're literally going to go with your competitors and squeeze you the
Yeah,
fuck out, and you're going to go out of business.
yeah, and how they did that was if you want to be on Hawthorne, you can't be on both. It used to be like even the hydro stores I used to go to, they could order from either catalog. Now, if a place, if you're a hydro farm catalog, which is very limited compared to Hawthorne's, right? Uh, Most places are Hawthorne. Hawthorne makes it all inclusive. You can only carry Hawthorne products now, even though they have like majority of all the brands. And yeah, like Hydro Farm was already being squeezed out.
See, that's a good example of something that should be illegal. Those exclusive distributor
Yeah,
relationships should be illegal.
and
That's
and
obviously
Hawthorne,
anti-competitive.
like there was Sun
Okay,
Systems,
hold on.
and then there was the both companies that had the beginnings of catalogs. Because when I first started getting uh, uh, hydro things. The guy that owned the hydro store had to deal with each company, each brand individually. He would get an order from this company or order from that company. Then the light companies, who I guess they had the profits at the time, selling hoods, uh, um, to become the catalogs. then they brought all these brands together under their catalog. And it used to be most of the main products were in both catalogs. Now, if you look at the catalogs from them, yeah, nope, you're this or that. Like you
No,
can't
you can
get
see it with
DH.
like the trim shears and stuff. Yeah, you get
Yeah,
either the Chickamasas and stuff or the others. You know, you won't get both. Yeah.
yeah.
Here's Roblox.
And that's just like that. That's exactly the stuff that all other sectors and businesses already went through, right? Like how it gets chopped up, how companies squeeze out companies, how they become conglomerates, how they take control. Um, yeah. And it's the same thing. Like, uh, if you're up and coming building a brand, of course you want to get Hawthorne distribution, except that Hawthorne distribution is just like Amazon. Yeah, they're going to move a shitload of your product, probably more than you can even produce at this
Hmm.
really low price. So then you're not even going to have the opportunity to have like some independent market where you might have a higher margin, right? Like they lock you
Exactly.
in.
Or they say, you know what, we're going to refuse your distribution because you can't provide high enough
Mm.
quantities at the price we want.
At
So
this
then
price.
you're struggling. So they'll say, well, you know, wait, yeah, we'll wait to put you out of business. Won't take your product, then we'll buy your company
Hmm.
Yeah, my
afterwards.
friend Michael, who runs that Bio 365 soil, which is a great, whatever you think about it, they make a good soil product and stuff. That's what they ran into a couple years ago as they were building up their company and trying to get distribution, especially for soil, which is kind of a lost leader to a lot of by the time they pay shipping and all that, it's not really the smartest product to try to distribute
Yeah.
bags of soil. But yeah, they redid their business model and pretty much just signed like, oh, a lot of top commercial grows all use Bio 365. They make a great product, but then he
Hi.
couldn't scale that product enough to be and take the low price
Hi.
to get distribution from
Hi, Big
Hawthorne.
Spot.
Like, yeah, they kind of lock you out once you're a certain size business. Then most likely even if you built your business on a high quality product, then to get to that next step, you're going to have to mass produce it at such a rate that you might not be able to keep control of it being a high quality product,
Hmm. Yeah, scaling.
right?
Hmm.
Scaling, you know.
Well, ladies and gerbils, we had a pretty good discussion. We're just about to hit the 20 here, so maybe we'll bounce here in a second. Good to see you
Yeah.
again, North Star, by the way. Always a pleasure. Uh,
Good to be on.
I was going to say something kind of wrapping up. I guess I lost my train of thought. I've used their soil before. I feel like I don't remember specifically the guys, but I feel like I've met your friend because I remember I apparently met the guy that was in charge of BIOS 365 one time at the Indo Expo. They seem like really nice people, honestly. It seemed like okay
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, why I support the company. The initial investment came from Bob Weir,
Hmm.
right? The initial land where they started as a very small soil company was Bill Graham's estate that was like bought by a certain person, and then that was where they did the initial so it comes out of the Grateful Dead
Hmm.
world. Bob Weir's actually the investor. Sometimes he wears Bio
Cheers, everyone.
365 shirts when he's playing shows. Very only a few times. Most people have no idea what it is. It's not like he verbally tries to promote it or anything, but it was something he believed in. And they make good soil. They do make good soil and cocoa mixes and all that. Their main thing is they have like a special biochar. I mean, I don't know, special is not the word, but like they're they're all about biochar in their soil mixes. Yeah, I used a bunch of it in my outdoor and some indoor. It was good. It was high quality stuff. There's no question.
Trying to create a pun with by Felicia and by Charlene or something. Nah, it's not working out. Anyway, happy 420 by the way. We just missed it, but now it's 421-21. So I guess happy 421, 421.
My clock's
I guess
wrong.
we'll start to wrap it up.
119.
What's that, bud?
It says 119 on my
Well,
clock. I could be wrong.
time is relative, I guess. What Einstein said, time is relative, right? So it's sometime. It's
Wow.
420 it's 420 somewhere. We'll say it that way. It's
Yeah,
420
man.
somewhere. So,
421.
who wants to do the honors first? Joel, you look like you're
Yeah, I'll
itching
jump outta
for
here.
saying goodbye.
Yeah,
go
thanks
for
for having me on. Yep. Everyone, have a good day. Live your life in the present. Don't be distracted by all the bullshit. Let's go out there and have a good time.
Yeah, man. Cheers. Good advice.
Peace.
Good to see you, North Star. Go for it, bud.
Yeah, everyone just have a good rest of your week and stay busy and stay out of the bullshit, I guess. Yeah.
That's it, man.
Have a
Seriously,
good
smoke
one.
more
Uh-huh.
weed.
Just
Holy
having it.
cannoli moly.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
And if you're smoking the wrong kind of weed and it makes you angry or something, go get something else and smoke that instead.
Yeah.
Go for it,
Yeah.
D.
Thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to tune in like always for the Saturday show, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 10 o'clock Pacific, with my show on my channel, the pre-show. Thanks everybody for tuning into the safety meeting, and we'll see you all on Saturday. And thanks like always to Fumidor.
Welcome, D. Right now, folks, I guess that leaves me. So, folks, do feel free to leave a comment if you enjoyed the show. I forget to mention that sometimes. Hopefully a positive comment instead of the fucking weird stalkers
Yeah.
that leave all kinds of mean shit. I just ban them. It's so easy. I don't know. I don't understand why they bother, but whatever. I guess they really have to let people know how they feel. I would prefer to know how you guys feel about the show. If you guys enjoyed it, if you want to see more of the conversational shows, please do let me know. I'm trying to do some different stuff, of course. So, like I said, next week we're going to hopefully rebroadcast the Romulan genetics interview from, gosh, a couple years ago, honestly. And then we might do it, even if I do it on the Tuesday show. Like I said, I'm actually liking that idea that maybe just doing the repeat show doesn't even have to be on the Wednesday high noon show, but having it on both channels will make it more difficult to get the shows taken down, the episodes taken down, stuff like that. So I think that's a kind of a good idea. We'll figure it out. If you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them, ladies and gentlemen. This is the content that you watch. You're clearly here watching it, so please let me know what you'd like to see. Otherwise, I can just guess, basically, or Google, ask ChatGPT, what should I do with my channel, buddy? It would be better to know from you, honestly, because you're not a fucking robot. So please let me know. Leave a comment. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the show. Email me at fumidor@chronictable.com. And of course, you can always DM me on both Discord and Instagram. Other than that, go visit my website, ladies and gentlemen, fumidoro.com. There's a coupon code you can use. We usually say the coupon code BRAINS. How's that pronounced, D?
Brains.
There you go, with a Z. So in case you're doing voice to text or whatever while you're purchasing, now you know. Save yourself 10% off, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't really work on merch. It might, but it's not supposed to. But because I make almost nothing on the merch. But excuse me. It's kind of a loyalty coupon basically for listening, or listener loyalty coupon. I should have just left it the first time. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, check out the new lines. There's going to be some new stuff released shortly. I'm trying to revamp things, so that's why I'm waiting to release some of the stuff. So hopefully that's going to be released here shortly. But there's still already a few new lines to go take a look at, ladies and gentlemen. Other than that, be kind, be decent, be gentle. Don't be fucking pricks, dicks, or lunatics, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to puff something wonderful. I oftentimes forget to say that. And of course, thanks very much thanks to the chat for saying hello and chatting and talking about all kinds of stuff. Sometimes, as Bud says, the chat kind of has a life of its own. Good to see you, Red Setter, Operation Annihilation in the chat. Forget to say hello to you earlier. Western Main Man, good to see you, buddy. Looks like you're number 3. What was that? Crown to the Crown Prince or something. I don't know how that works exactly. Red Setter Farm, good to see you, buddy. Martial Artist hanging. Dankabus Kind, good to see you. You're very welcome. Who else is hanging with us here that I didn't see? Christoph, of course, was hanging. Martial Artist, good to see you, Martial Artist. I think I didn't say hello to you earlier either. Jess and Bean, RZ Banshee, Ganja Lion. I missed you entirely over there. Ganja Lion, good to see you. Who else is hanging? Pat's Fan, quite a few people. So, folks, Lurkers, non-lurkers, thanks very much for tuning in. Hopefully I'll shout you out next time if I didn't have a chance to shout you out this time. Later, Gators, and oven-baked taters with a little bit of olive oil drizzle and some cheese.